Okay, perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us tonight, who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Brother Julius Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir. This is an extreme honor for myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, sir. The first question that we want to know for you is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
You know, Brother Joshua, it was in the city of Denver, Colorado in the late 80s, 89 going into 1990. And I was privileged to be asked, and I always encourage, we always got to ask lost founds or those who have never heard the teachings before to come out and to hear it for their first time. So I was asked in the early 90s, in 1990, to come out and to hear the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. One of my first meetings was a study group. And I entered there and I found people sitting around a table studying and learning. And because I have a passion for learning, it was really intriguing to me. And that's what caught my attention. I didn't know who Minister Farrakhan was. For several, maybe a week or 2 weeks, even after coming to my first meeting, I had no clue of who Minister Farrakhan was. I just know that I was invited to a place where people were studying and learning, and that's what caught my attention, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And how did you get from Denver to Michigan?
You know, Brother Joshua, I got here because of my son. I've got an 8-year-old son, and I moved here. His mother is originally from here in Muskegon, Michigan. So I moved here to care for my son. And so I've been here now for approximately 7 years now and loving every minute of it.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, how did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
You know, when I first joined Brother Joshua, I was a zealot. I must admit that I was a zealot. I went into my mother's house and I started throwing pork chops out the refrigerator and the freezer. You know, all the alcohol, I threw it down because I was a lush when I was a teenager. And so coming into the Nation of Islam allowed me to kick that habit of drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana. And one of my biggest addictions was cigarettes. And it was hard to get rid of those cigarettes. So I was able to kick those habits. And my family, when they saw me kick all of those habits, those bad habits, they really admired the transformation that was taking place in my life. I was, in fact, a zealot, so I was very excited about hearing the teachings and telling everybody about the teachings. So they really respected what I was doing. They admired the change that was taking place in my life. And my family, my God, they were the first ones who really saw the change that the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan produced.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Did the minister ever visit Denver when you were there?
He did. I'm trying to think of what year it was. If I recall correctly, I think it was 1997. If I recall correctly, I might have to be corrected on that year, but that was the first time that Minister Farrakhan visited Denver, Colorado, and we had a beautiful reception for him when he came. And that was the first time, I believe, Brother Joshua, as I recall, Minister Farrakhan visiting Denver, Colorado. We were out there in the Rocky Mountains, you know, kind of in the middle of nowhere, so to speak, you know, with the West Coast, of course, but we were out there pushing hard in Denver, Colorado. And that tells you how the minister's word is literally in every nook and cranny of the United States of America and the world. So we were out there in Denver pushing the minister as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, ma'am. And thank everyone who's watching across the country. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Please let us know what city you all are watching from. Now, brother, okay, so what was it? So the minister comes, what was that experience like?
That was a great experience, you know, to have the minister in our city. You know, we hadn't been having, of course, that type of activity with the Nation of Islam, having the minister come to our city. So it was a big experience for the brothers in the mosque and the sisters as well, and for the city itself. So it was a tremendous challenge for us. When they came into the city, we were able to accommodate the believers from all over the nation. So it was a great training experience and learning experience for us all.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay. What was who were the laborers and who trained you in Denver?
There was a couple of different ministers that were there. One, brother Wazir Muhammad, and then another brother Sabir Muhammad, that trained me primarily as a young Muslim. And they gave me some excellent training. Brother Sabir Muhammad, formerly known as Brother Henry Muhammad, may God rest his soul. He was a minister under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so he had some great experience and great training for us all. And also Brother Wazir Muhammad also was a part of the first. And so we had some great experience with those brothers. We had some older brothers there who were also a part of the first, a lieutenant, Brother Zaki Muhammad and Brother Wali Muhammad. And so we had some older brothers there that we were really able to latch on to and learn some great experience in terms of how to be an FOI, a fruit of Islam in the Nation of Islam.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, how did you go from that to now running for mayor?
You know, Brother Joshua, it's through the training of what we've been giving in the Nation of Islam. I mean, we're taught to study, and we're taught to study all the sciences of life. We're taught to study mathematics. We're taught to study pretty much everything in the Nation of Islam. And that is what intrigues me so much. And I value so much of what the Nation of Islam offers to anybody, because the minister encourages us to study everything pretty much in anything that we can get our hands on. So when I decided to go into politics, I was encouraged also by Brother Marcus Muhammad, who is the mayor in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I said, if my brother can do it, I most certainly can do it. And one thing that I always want to encourage the believers to do is to be the best in whatever field you're in. We've got to demonstrate excellence wherever we are, whether we're in a factory, whether we're in high school, in academics, whether we're in college, wherever we may be, we have to display excellence and be at the forefront of wherever we are, because I believe that what we have to offer, not only through our teachings, but through our discipline, through our character, through what we've been taught, I think we bring to the table, if you will, some tremendous value that will help turn many communities around. So.
All praises to Allah. It's a fact. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're teaching, and people are bearing witness in the comments. Thank you very much for everyone who's showing love to our brother, Brother Julius Muhammad. My next question for you, sir, is fear. Has there ever been a time from whether in Michigan to Denver where you were faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Very good question. Fear. I'm trying to think when I was actually faced with fear. One thing I can say, Brother Joshua, I'm trying to think of a particular incident where I was made afraid. But one thing that I do know is that whenever you're faced with fear, remain calm. Actually, in truth, yes, a gun was pulled on me. I remember now very vividly. A young man pulled a gun on me. And when he pulled the gun on me, he had to be no more than maybe 3 feet away. And so the thing is calmness is the main ingredient in terms of overcoming your fear. It's just to remain calm, you know, take a deep breath and do your best not to react. And so I think that that was the greatest experience that I had. And just to answer that question, being faced with fear, I must encourage everybody, remain calm, remain calm.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the gun is pulled on you. What happens?
Well, the gun was pulled on me. And of course, I was able to remain calm. And through that calmness, it was able to kind of diffuse, not diffuse, but to kind of take attention off of the young man for that moment in time. And so through the calmness, after I was able to remain calm, then I was able to, after that, act upon the situation. And I was actually able to take the gun from the young man, wrestle it away from him, and then he ran away after that. And that was pretty much what happened in the situation. But the first part of it was to, in fact, remain calm.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. My sister Naima says assalamu alaikum as well. And thank everyone who's showing love all across the country. Okay, my next question for you, sir, is the Million Man March. What was the climate like leading up to it? And how did it personally impact you?
Oh my, 1995, my God, what a moment in time, a glimpse of heaven. In fact, indeed, the Million Man March was an experience of a lifetime. And I can remember working a 9 to 5 at that time. I was working at the Greyhound bus station. And like Brother Spike Lee wrote a movie called Get on the Bus. I got on the bus, literally, and rode the Greyhound from Denver, Colorado to Washington, DC. One of the experiences that I had was many of our brothers and sisters, not necessarily who were fearful, but were hesitant in terms of going to the Million Man March. I informed my employer at that time that I was going, and of course, respectfully asked permission for those days off. But the beautiful thing is when I returned, the employer himself was excited and wanted to know what the experience was like also. And I would tell young men, you should have went, you should have went. So when we got there and I think we got there late that evening, the day before the Million Man March. And like many stories have been told, early in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, as we walked out on the mall, you literally saw hundreds of thousands of young men and women, and particularly young men, gathering on the mall in Washington, DC. I can remember that at that time, the West Coast, unfortunately, was called the worst coast in 1995. So we were given a security assignment way at the Washington Monument. And I know Minister Sharif was the supreme captain at this time. So I hope I don't get in trouble. I didn't abandon my post, but I said I wasn't going to go all the way to Washington, DC and stand at the Washington Monument. And so I walked all the way up to the stage. And I was there at the stage left. at the Million Man March to be with the Honorable Minister Julius Farrakhan and the nearly 2 million men that came to Washington, D.C. On that day. And I must say, after that march, after it cleared out, there was no fighting. There was simply peace. The mall was clean and the disbursement of the men was so peaceful. It was such a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, in your life journey, Brother Julius, what has been the greatest trial in your life, and how have you overcome that trial?
I think, Brother Joshua, for anyone that I've had a few trials, if you will, but I think the greatest one was I was given F time indefinitely by the Honorable Minister Julius Farrakhan. And I grew not only to love and admire student minister Sharif much, because I believe, if memory serves me correctly, that during the time that I was actually put out, I think that was the time that he was also dismissed from his post as the Supreme Captain of the Nation of Islam. And this time period that I served out of the mosque, it was a tremendous trial, because like I had mentioned before, I came into the mosque in 1990. I'm 53 years now, so that gives me a little bit over 30 something odd years in the Nation of Islam of tremendous love for Minister Julius Farrakhan, tremendous love for the brotherhood, for the sisterhood. So to be put out of that was a tremendous trial period for me. I thank Allah that I was indeed pardoned by Minister Farrakhan after 9.5 years of being on F time. After 9.5, nearly 10 years of being on F time. And the one thing that Minister Farrakhan said to me when I met him for the first time, after corresponding with him through mail and through phone calls, but when I met him for the first time, face to face, he whispered in my ear and he thanked me for my patience. And so it was a tremendous trial, but it was definitely well worth the wait.
All praises due to Allah. Okay, great. So can you say how you were pardoned? Can you let us know the story of how you were pardoned?
Oh yes, most definitely. Well, persistence, brothers and sisters, pays off. Patience and the ability to endure hardship pays off. Brother Sharif wrote a book, if I will, called Down Is Not Out.
That's right.
And one thing that the minister told me, very similar to what Minister Sharif said he mentioned to him, is that me being down was just preparation for me to do great things.
All praise to Allah.
And so I held this firmly in my mind. And so with persistence and the ability, and not just the ability, but the determination not to be counted out. And so me calling on the minister and reaching out to him, one day I called the palace and his administrative assistant answered the phone. And after 9.5 years, the minister said, Brother Julius, you can go back to the mosque. So that was how I got pardoned. And so I immediately went back to the mosque and began my continuance as being a fruit of Islam in the Nation of Islam. And so that was a part of how I got pardoned, Brother Joshua. And if I may, I've got to mention this because I thank you for that question, but I've got to mention this because so many of us have had different experiences with Minister Farrakhan. But, you know, over this period of time, I had a dream. And, you know, we all have our dreams and we've had dreams, but I had a dream. And one of the dreams that I had was of Minister Farrakhan. And one thing is as I was petitioning him and going through the process of asking him if I could return, and this is something that I hold dear to heart, is because it's so true. And so as I was asking the minister in this particular dream to be allowed to come back into the mosque, I made a statement to the minister that sometimes, brother minister, I just feel like giving up. And his response, Brother Joshua, was, Brother Julius, that's the problem with the believers. They give up too easy. And so I encourage all of us to never give up hope, keep fighting, keep striving, keep working, keep going. And remember that down definitely is not out. So just keep striving. And remember, the race is not to the swift.
That's right.
It's not to the strong, but it's to those of us who can endure to the end. And so I'm encouraging everybody to pick up that endurance and let's go about it and not give up. Don't quit.
Oh, so beautiful. And people are showing you love all across the country, Brother Julius. Charlie Brown says, beautiful, so sorry, but you made it through. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. We have a quick 60-second commercial, Brother Julius, for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this month. I want to thank you for your transparency and in telling that testimony, because, man, I mean, you definitely given perspective for people who have been away, but for 9 years. That's persistence, brother. That's persistence for sure.
9.5.
9.5, yes, sir.
Nearly
yes,
10
sir.
years. And Brother Joshua, before you go to commercial, I had people, they tell me, why don't you just give up? Why don't you just quit? And that's what people will tell you, man. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how difficult the thing gets, because remember that study guide number 3, overcoming difficulty.
That's right, that's right.
That's one that we really have to take to heart.
Beautiful, all praise due to Allah. Yes, sir, and on that great and motivational note, for everybody, I want to thank all of the sponsors of this month of the People's Podcast. If you would like to be a sponsor and or a donor, please cash out the People's Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book, coloring book, and now Spanish book, all 3 which are available on Amazon. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Raw Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Raw Communications. Also, fashion guides, urban wear for men and boys, 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion, dripping in the best of high-end clothes. Also, student minister Robert L. Muhammad, conflict mediation, squashing the beef throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, children of the Most High, giving birth to a God in the science of child rearing. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Right back to our brother Julius Muhammad, who was running for mayor. Brother Julius, how can we support you in your running for mayor?
Oh, most definitely, Brother Joshua, I definitely appreciate that. Of course, you know, financial support is always good. Donations can be sent to my campaign. It's the Committee to Elect Julius Muhammad, CTE Julius Muhammad, Cash App. And then also, brothers and sisters that are, of course, you can't vote necessarily for me here in the city, but definitely you can support me in the efforts of the financial piece, and you can definitely send up your prayers. And the reason is because I think that I thought about how everybody has a goal. Everybody has something that they're desirous of doing. And of course, we all need to learn how to back each other in those goals and those aspirations, whatever we might do, whether it's the People's Podcast like yourself, Brother Joshua, you have much support from around the country, and we back you. We love you. We admire you for what you're doing. And whoever out there has a goal, has an aspiration, has something that they want to do, we as believers should find a way to back those people. And so that's the primary way that you can do it. I'm also asking too, for the brothers that are in or in close proximity of Michigan, I am asking some of the brothers to come on down to Muskegon, Michigan, so we can put some boots on the ground. So I will be reaching out to brothers across Michigan and inshallah in Chicago. Even Minister Sharif said he wants to come this way and at least visit with us. So we want to just bring the brothers here. If you can come, by all means, we're inviting you to come. I had the idea to do what Minister Sharif used to do for the brothers in the early 90s. And that is, I'm going to house you, brothers. I'll put you in a hotel for a few days. If you can make it here, I can definitely put you in a hotel for a few days. But I definitely would like that type of support from the brothers around the country. Come on and help your brother here so that I can capture this city, not for me, but so that we can capture it to help our people and make our community a safe and a decent place to live. So we could do that.
That's excellent. Yes, sir. So once again, Julius Muhammad of Mesquite, Michigan.
Muskegon.
Muskegon, Michigan. I want to make
Yes,
sure I
sir.
type it up so people can post it.
Yep, and it's actually the city that I'm inshallah, I want to be the mayor of is Muskegon Heights, Michigan.
Muskegon Heights. Excellent, beautiful. All praises due to Allah. What has been your greatest joy in life, Brother Julius?
You know, Brother Joshua, my greatest joy has definitely, most definitely been my family, my children, particularly. They have given me such joy and such life. Of course, I have 4 grandchildren now as well. I think it's 4. Yep, 4 grandchildren as well. And of course, our children are definitely an extension of ourselves. And family, my God, are the ones who are definitely going to be there with you through thick and through thin. And so the more that we can wrap our arms around our family, my God, that's where the real true love comes from, is through family.
Exactly. Okay, great. Yes, sir. My next question for you is, being a father, speaking of family, what advice would you give to future fathers?
Don't in no way, shape, or form abandon your children. Be there for them as much as you possibly can, because you will regret it in the end. The time that you didn't spend with your children, those moments that you missed with your children, I guarantee you, brothers, you'll regret it. So embrace the moments that you have, every moment that you have, and live definitely in that present time. Take the time for your children, that quality time. and be there for them throughout their lives. Because like I said, I've heard many brothers regret those moments that they didn't take with their children. And I, like many of those brothers, have regretted many of those moments. So for future fathers, even if you're not with the mother, if there's a situation where you and the mother are not together, still, brothers, take full opportunity to spend as much time that you possibly can with your children and put as much of yourself into your children, because know for a fact that once they're out into that world, everybody and anybody's going to be in their ears. So you, brothers, you be the best example that you possibly can for your children.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. My next question for you, sir, is: will you ever write a book on your personal life?
You know, Brother Joshua is definitely, I think it was Minister Farrakhan, but I know particularly Brother Akbar Muhammad used to really tell us that all the time. And I think even Brother Jabril Muhammad advised us on a couple of occasions that we should all write a book about ourselves. And I think I know it was Brother Akbar. It was so funny the way he said it, because he said, well, if nobody else reads it, at least your children will read it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I think that is something that I definitely want to do, Brother Joshua. As each of us have our own unique history and our own unique experiences in life, I definitely would love to do something like that myself.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What type of music do you listen to, bro, Julius?
I pretty much listen to all genres of music for the most part. The only type music that I really haven't gotten into was that hard rock and roll. But outside of that, I listen to classical music. I listen to blues. I listen to jazz. I listen to R&B, hip hop, rap. You know, coming from the 80s and the 90s, you know, I jokingly say I'm like the father of hip hop, you know.
Okay.
We back in the day. So yes. I definitely listen to old school hip hop, old school rap. So I'm pretty much across the board in terms of music. I'm not one particularly that can pinpoint who it is that's singing the song, but I know how to bob my head, you know. Yes. I know it's a good rhythm.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay,
indeed.
Great. And people are showing you love again, Brother Julius, all across the country. Our last question that we have for you, sir, is what would you like your legacy to be?
You know, Brother Joshua, the end for me, or my legacy, what I'd like to see is that this was a brother who persistently and very passionately pursued his goals, pursued that which he was looking for out of his life. And so I want to be that brother who never gave up. I want to be that brother who endured to the end. And I want to be that brother who overcame, who was said to overcome the obstacles that was in his path. Because as we all know, life is a lot of different obstacles that we have to overcome.
Yes, sir.
So I want to be that type of example to other young men and to women, that you just got to keep at it. You got to keep going, keep the good fight, and never give up. And that's what I believe I'm about, is a man that inshallah will never, ever give up.
Beautiful. What an amazing legacy that is, sir. And man, thank you for your transparency and honesty, Brother Julius. Thank everyone for watching, and may Allah continue to bless you. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for your sacrifice and the sacrifices of your family for helping to establish Islam in Denver, all the way now to, and I don't want to butcher it again, but in Michigan, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah, Muskegon, I don't want to butcher it, but yes, sir. But I want to thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.